I've got a quick video with 10 cheap, mind-blowing cologne fragrances. This video is not going to disappoint you. We're about to get into it, but before we do, remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. I've got videos like this coming out every couple days. Give the video a like if you like it, and add down in the comments your own additions to this list of mind-blowing clones. All right, the first one that I happen to already have in my hand, this is a clone that's been getting some hype. It's starting to, because it's a clone of a powerful, sweet oud fragrance by Montal, which is Arabian Tonka. This is Pandora Scents, a branch of Paris Corner. This is Noir d'Arabie, or d'Arabie, however you say that. And it's basically a dark, rich, sweet, sugary oud fragrance. It's going to remind you something like Mocha Woods by Fragrance World. If you've actually smelled that one, they're actually very similar, almost redundant. It's just this one doesn't have the chocolate note. Again, a clone of Arabian's Tonka, Noir d'Arabie. All right, next up, this one is really a legitimate hype beast, sold out for months and months or way too expensive on eBay. But now you can get it for a pretty reasonable price. This is a clone of Louis Vuitton L'Immensité. This is Maison Hambra's Jean Lo Immortelle. And this is a citrus aromatic fragrance. You get beautiful sweet citrus in the opening with a good dose of ginger, and then you go down into some green aromatics. Reminds me a little bit of something like Bulgari Tigar, but sweeter in that citrus opening. Again, Jean Lo Immortelle. All right, this next one. This is one of the best random buys from a rack store that I've ever found in my life. The moment I smelled it, I knew this is a Kilian's fragrance. One of the crystal bottles with the very dark colored juice, at least the bottle's very dark on the inside, but I wasn't sure which one until I looked it up. This is a clone of Kilian Straight to Heaven, and it is awesome. This is Camara Fragrances El Dorado Kingdom, and you're going to get this very distinct, almost to the level of Kilian booziness, which that's really saying something. And it's a very woody fragrance, and it's a very chocolatey patchouli fragrance. So think booze, I believe it's rum, with a good dose of woods and a good dose of sweet chocolatey goodness. I mean, it's funky, like Straight to Heaven is, but it is so good. My wife doesn't really like it, I'll tell you that right now. But this smells like quality. It smells like a work of art. It's a good clone of Kilian Straight to Heaven, El Dorado Kingdom. All right, next up. This one hasn't been getting much love. I've seen a few people mention it, but this is a clone of Initio Paragon. And there have been a few clones of Paragon that have been coming out. And this is the only one that I have smelled so far. And I am very, very happy with this purchase. It is a beautiful, sweet, fruity fragrance. You've got citrus and a hefty dose of plum. And then you go into some oud and some other woods. This is LFA Al Nama. LFA Al Nama. It's a good performing fragrance. It's got some lift. It's got some push. But that fruity sweetness actually reminds me of like the Freezy Pops. You know, the ones that are just like a little elongated plastic pouch filled with sugar juice. Well, frozen Freezy Pops, that sweet fruitiness, that's what I get with some oud in the base. It is really, really good. Al Nama, a Paragon clone. This next one, again, it's starting to get some hype, and it should. People are confused about this fragrance. I'm a little confused about this fragrance because I never smelled Pure Zest by Mugler. But this is supposed to be a clone of Pure Zest. This is Insurrection 2 Emperor. And my, this is a very interesting fragrance. It smells like an orange dreamsicle or creamsicle in the opening, and that sweet, creamy, vanillic orange does hang on for the first few hours, but then it goes into something that reminds me of Creed Aventus. And it actually shares a number of notes with Creed Aventus. It's like a more sort of oak mossy version of something like Credaventus. So I never smelled Pure Zest. I know it's known for that creamsicle. I was expecting a cheap, sweet, just, yeah, it'll be a fun fragrance to wear, but this one's got some depth. It's interesting. Dreamsicle plus something like Aventus. Very cool. Insurrection 2 Emperor. I've been wearing this a lot, so have my sons. That one's a great pickup. Okay, next, this one has been around for a little while, but I'm throwing it in here because it belongs here. This is an ultra cheap clone of Armani Code Profumo. You know the one, Sapil Bound. I mean, the ugliest, cheapest Middle Eastern bottle, yes, but it's a good clone of Profumo. That wonderful apple, sweet, fruity goodness with that mysterious kind of smoky vibe. I love the original fragrance, and this one, although it's super candy sweet and synthetic in the opening, once it settles down after about 15 minutes, it is basically Code Profumo Sapil Bound. And you can pick it up for less than 20 bucks usually. Now this is another Marshall's find, and it's a clone of Eros, but here's the thing, it's a clone of Versace Eros. I think it's a clone of the EDP. I have all of the Eros fragrances, and I was doing some testing, and to me, it's a lot closer to the EDP, quite close to the EDP. The brand is Caesar, I guess, or no, the brand is Shirley Made Deluxe. This is a Marshall's pickup, random $12 clone, and the fragrance is Caesar. It's about a 6-hour fragrance. It's not going to blow you away like the performance of Eros, but for 12 bucks, if you can find this and you don't have Eros EDP, pick it up. Caesar by, again, Shirley Made Deluxe. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of them, if you've got other fragrances by them, and are they any good. Okay, next, this one again, you've heard of it, but it belongs here. This one blew me away the first time I smelled it, and it's probably in my top 10 most worn fragrances since I picked it up. It's a clone of Mancera's beautiful, dark, smoky tobacco beast. I'm talking, of course, about Red Tobacco by Mancera, but this is Paris Corners Emir Wild and Tobacco. Dark, smoky tobacco with a rich, chocolatey patchouli. You've got leather. You've got a touch of oud. Super interesting fragrance. Again, wild and tobacco. 2 more. This next one. This one is supposed to be a clone of Valentino Uomo Intense, but I recently picked up the original Uomo back 3-4 months ago, and it's actually right in between Valentino Uomo and Valentino Uomo Intense. It's got that woody vibe and that sort of, I think it's myrtle vibe that's a little stronger in Uomo, but then it's got the sweetness and it's got the iris from Uomo Intense. This one is Valencia Uomo Intense. I got it on Amazon for I think about 28 bucks. Really good fragrance if you like those two. If you like the original Uomo, I don't see how anybody could dislike Uomo Intense unless you don't like iris, but it's a mix of the two and a great pickup. And finally, this one is a clone of Dolce & Gabbana The one of the flankers, and of the ones that I have smelled, my favorite of the flankers, it's a clone of Luminous Night. You know the one I'm talking about, probably. This is Fragrance World's The One and Only Moonlit Night. And this is a gorgeous, sweet, aromatic fragrance that does have in the opening, I believe it's dates. That's what it is. It's got dates in the opening that gives a lot of sweetness, and it's also got some frankincense, some kind of resinous notes in there. Very interesting fragrance. This is one I can't get enough of, Moonlit Night. So that has been 10. Each of these are what I would say mind-blowing for one reason or another, because they exist in the first place, or because of how cheap they are, or because they are just that stinking good. But let me know down in the comments, what would you add to the list? Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and give the video a like. I'm Justin. This has been Sillage Scents.